Okay, hi. I am going to show you how to do a LUT edit for helmets specifically, but it should work for other things. This is XenoKid's guide, which can be found in the resources tab of the Helldivers 2 modding Discord under LUT and Cape modding. So there's a text guide. It'll explain everything that I'm about to show you in depth, but for those who like video guides, that's what I'm here doing. Okay, so for example, we're going to start off, I'm going to do this Veil helmet for the Fiend Destroyer as my example. The only thing you really need from the helmet you're working with is the normal map for this to work. So I've got this all set up already. Obviously your helmet's going to be different for whatever you're working on. But to get the normal map, we're going to use Principled Baker here in Blender. This guide is also assuming that you know how to do general modding. This is just a tutorial on doing the LUTs. So for me, I'm going to use Principled Baker to get this out of here. So I got my folder set up. I'm going to bake it. Like I said, I'm going to bake the color. Usually it doesn't work for these Halo helmets for some reason, but I'm going to bake the normal map. And like I said, for some reason the color doesn't really work on these Halo helmets. Sometimes it does, so I do it anyway, but it does help sometimes. And then I'm just going to export this as an FBX. From here, I am specifically doing the Fiend Destroyer helmet. So I'm going to open up Helldivers. Again, all of these programs are listed in other guides. This is assuming you know how to do certain things. I'm sorry, first I need the generated customization armor sets, which can be found in the archive searching tab. If you search in here, you should be able to find this. You should be able to find this in the archive searching tab. Ryder Anton posted it. You can search for his you can search this in archive searching, and it's this file here. So we're going to open that up. Type in Fiend Destroyer and find the path for the helmet, which is this right here. So it's under helmet, path, that. Copy that. And in Helldivers, we're going to search that. And begin export. Okay, that exported right here. We're going to load that up. Okay, so inside of here, I'm going to get rid of this stuff because we don't need it. Here is our helmet, and if we click this, we can see that it has the textures. Okay, now I'm going to copy that. Move that just so it's easier. And I'm going to bring in a custom LUT to make it so I can see in real time the what each color is associated in the LUT. So need to open up the image editor, find the LUT for the helmet. Wait, no, that's the ID mask. The LUT. Unpack it, doesn't really matter which thing, and we're going to replace. And I have a test LUT that has all the colors associated with it. I'll actually just load that up and show you. So in Paydex, yeah, so I have my thing here. So it's red, green, blue, orange, cyan, pink, yellow, purple. That's what I have this set up as, so that I can see easier. So load my test EXR. And now I have the colors. Next, I'm going to import the helmet that I'm going to be working with. So I've imported the helmet I'm going to work with. I need to get that into position. Okay, it looks a little better. All right, so you know what? I might just give this a little bit of a stretch sideways, just a little bit. Okay, so that is ready to go. I can move this over to here so that I can see in real time. When I go into Substance Painter, I'm going to have this in my second screen, so you're not going to be able to see that, but I'm going to have this open so that I can see in real time which colors are associated with what. Now, before I export this again, we need to set this up. So, UV map, you want to make sure that your UV map over here is spelled this way, capital UVM, lowercase AP. That's important. Next, I'm going to go in here and I need to sharp mark this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the amount of vertices on this. Obviously, I don't know what helmet you're working with or what you're trying to work with when you do this, but for the Halo helmets, I can hit Alt-J, and as you can see, it reduced the amount of tries that are on here, so it makes it a little easier to work with. And then I'm going to hit, sometimes when you do the Alt-J, it's going to mess up your UVs. If it does that, just Control-Z and don't do this step. Back in here, I'm going to hit M for merge by distance. So a lot of these helmets, when you export them from other things, they're going to have separated geometry that is, you don't necessarily need it, and it just creates more vertices. And it makes it a lot easier to work with if everything's merged into one thing. I am, however, going to select the visor and hit H on the visor just so that I don't do this to the visor. So we're going to hit M, merge by distance. And it looks like this is already actually merged, so that's good. Then I'm going to hit 2 while in edit mode to go into edges. Hit select sharp edges, and this makes it way easier than going in and manually doing this. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit and hopefully get as much of the geometry as I can that needs to be sharp marked. It looks like this is actually separated. Hang on 1 second, let me check this. Yes, this is separated. Okay, so something did not work right here when I did this. Merge by distance. Let's bring this up slightly until we get some merging happening. Oh, I'm stupid, that's why. Got to select everything and then merge by distance, which we need to reduce this back down to 1. Okay, that was just me being an idiot. Alright. Now we can do select sharp edges, and that should select most of what we need to work with. There is some stuff that we will need to manually correct here. But that does give you a good baseline to work with and should save you some time when you're trying to do sharp marking. Okay, now with all of our stuff sharp marked, hopefully that's good enough. We're going to go into modifiers, add modifier, edit, weighted normal, and turn on keep sharp. Now, if it pops up and says that you need to turn something on here, you're going to do that in this little triangle thing here, normals, auto smooth. You got to turn auto smooth on. It'll give you an error if that's not checked. So that, hit tab to go out of edit mode. Actually, wait first. Alt H to bring back in the visor. And I need to sharp mark the visor. Okay, now with that merged back together, the visor is sharp marked and separated so that I can make a custom visor if I want to, because I don't know if I like this visor color or not. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do the custom visor just so I can show you how that works, because it is kind of cool to be able to do stuff like that. Now, that's taken care of. Check our UV map, make sure everything's good. UV map looks like it's good. Everything is in the 0 to 1. Sometimes you can take like duplicated geometry like this here. I guess I can't just select that, but like if I wanted to take just this piece, because it's probably duplicated, yeah, like this, you can move this over to another space. Sometimes Substance Painter will glitch out on you if the duplicated geometry is not moved to a separate UV space. I've only seen it happen a few times. I don't know what causes it, but that is something that you can do. And an easy way to do that is to select half the mesh and see what is, like if I do that and then hit A and go back and forth, I can see what is going to be duplicated. So like this, selected by vertice would be easier. Yeah. That. Okay, so now I have my duplicated geometry in the other space. So now we can, I'm actually just going to Control S, save my progress so I don't lose my progress if something happens. Alright, so now I think everything is set up. We're going to now, to make this work, there might be another way to do this. I haven't figured it out, but in XenoKid's guide here, he has use this as a template. This is a Substance Painter template that he made. And to use the file, the easiest way that I found to make it work is, let me load up the file here. Okay, so the easiest way I found to import the file you're going to be working with is like, this is one I already had set up, still using his template, is to go into the texture list and copy this number and put that on your material for your helmet. So now it has that same number. Then we're going to export this again. So I exported that as an FBX over top of the old one. And then we're going to come in here and go to Edit, Project Configuration, and then hit Select. And then in there you're going to bring in whatever helmet you're going to work with. And then hit OK. And now it brought our helmet in. That's fine. It should look like this. That's totally fine. Then we're going to go to Layers. We're going to delete the normal map that was from the previous thing. And we're going to click Add Black. I don't actually need this specific layer. We're going to put Add Black Mask over top of all of those to clear them. So once they are cleared, we're going to bring in our normal map from our thing. Actually, I should note here, this is specific to certain things. Your normal map might be messed up. Like if I bring this in here right now, normal, it should be backwards. Like the indents are actually, It's kind of hard to tell. Like this right here. You can tell that should be indented, but it looks like it's being pushed outwards. To fix that, open up your normal map in Photoshop. I don't know how to do this in like GIMP or other programs. Go to Channels, Green, specifically the green channel, Image, Adjustments, Invert, and then click your RGB again, and then Control S to save it. And now when you bring that in this time, it should be correct. See? So now it's like an indent, right? Not correct. Correct. Alright, so delete the old one. Then hit the croissant and bake textures. Go back to your thing. Alright, so now we are set up to start coloring in our stuff. So like I said, oh wait, first one more thing to set up here. The fourth one down here, I'm going to add a color just so it's easier for right now. I'm going to turn this to orange, and I'm going to turn this to purple. And this, again, this correlates to that specific LUT that I made to, hang on one second. Alright, so that's purple. So that corresponds to this LUT here that I made to show me what I'm looking at, right? So like the dark purple and the orange. Later we're going to have to delete these colors off of this before we save them. Okay, so again, I'm going to put this on my second computer screen, so you're not going to be able to see me going back and forth looking at this. But like red is obviously the top here, purple's your visor. Looks like for this one, orange is this black here. The metallic here is pink, which this is also metallic. The green is ironically green. You know, so you're just gonna figure out where you want these colors to show up on your helmet and then paint them on in Substance Painter. So let's see. What do I want to be green? Or I can just show you with the visor real quick. Alright, so the visor, purple, find the visor. We're going to click this thing here, this little button. Makes it so you can select faces. And just color that in. Easy. Now, let's say I messed this up, right? I did this thing where I selected the faces, and oh man, I want to change that to a different color. Well, an easy way to do that is to go to this slider bar here and turn it to black instead of white, and then you can erase with that instead of going to the eraser tool and then manually doing it like that, or clearing your black mask. It's actually really helpful for like when you're doing detail work and you click like one face by accident, you can go in later and instead of using, like I said, the eraser, you can just turn this to black, and instead of selecting, you're now deselecting. So that's the tip there. But yeah, I'm going to go in, I'm going to paint my helmet, and talk to you when I'm done painting the helmet. Okay, so I have the helmet all painted up, how I want the colors to go. Looks pretty good. Actually, hang on one second here. Totally messed this part up. These should be red. So we're going to do, like I said, we're going to get rid of that and do that. Okay. Now, like I said before, I was going to show you how to do a custom visor. So I have a material set up already for doing glass for my ODST visors, so you're going to have to make like a material to do this. But I'm just going to select my glass as the material I want and figure out what color I want. I think it's black right now for the in-game one, so I think maybe like the armor's green, so So I think I'm gonna go with like maybe a goldish color. Is it this one? Yeah. So let's go with something like that, maybe. I don't know if it's gonna look good, but I'm just doing this to show you. I can always switch it back later. Yeah. Alright, so we got that. So for right now, I'm gonna hide that layer, and we're gonna get on to exporting. So, like I said before, I just put the purple and the orange on there to make it easier to see what I was working with. For exporting, we need to go back into there and delete the color part of that. So just uncheck those. It's going to turn those black like that. And now we can export our textures, which we go up to export. And in export, you're going to click on your texture. Make sure all these are checked. You don't, so pattern mask, that's something I should explain real quick. There is this layer here, this white layer, and this is for like, some of the helmets have like stripes and stuff, and you use this layer to put those stripes on there. It's like a separate thing. This helmet doesn't have it, so I don't need to worry about that. But if your helmet has a pattern, that's how you edit your pattern. So anyway, back to exporting. So like I said, check all those things. You need the curvature and the ID masks. Other than that, you should be good. And hit export to whatever folder you're going to export them to. Alright, so now we have our two masks. So we need to put these into a single mask. And to do that, you need to use GIMP. So I have a template for this set up already. So this is my template. Actually, you know what? I should just show you how to do this, shouldn't I? Okay, so we're going to open the ID mask in GIMP. And we need to go to Image, Canvas Size, and turn this to double whatever your width is. Hit Resize, Resize. Alright, so that's going to give you... zoom out buttons are different in different programs. It's so annoying. Alright, so that's going to give you the double stack here. Alright, go to... Now, set this up, if you're going to be doing these, set this up as a template, what I'm about to show you. It'll make it so much easier for you in the long term. So you're going to go to... Sorry. You're going to go to Guides, New Guide by percent, and Horizontal 50. That's going to give you this horizontal line. Then you're going to go to Guide again by percent, switch this to 0, vertical, hit OK. And then just for your template purposes, drag this over to like here, just so that you know that you need to delete this later, because you can't save a blank GIMP file for some reason. So I just leave this like this, and then save this as a template. It'll make it so much easier. I'll show you that. So like, I just load up my template. Boom. And then I hit this little X down here to get rid of that layer, and I'm good to go. It saves so much time having that template. So drag in your first ID mask, drag it to your top section using your guides to snap it to place. You see how it's snappy? You're going to snap it into that, and you're going to hit Control X. Oh wait, sorry. You're going to hit, no, you're going to go into here, hit Add Layer Masks. So right click on your layer, Add Layer Masks, Transfer Layers Alpha Channel, hit Add. So it's going to give you these two files here. Now you're going to, with this selected still, you're going to hit Control X, Control V. Alright, so then it splits that. Then you're going to bring in your ID mask 2. And drag that down, snap it into your grid. And you're going to do the same thing. Add layer masks, add, Control X, Control V, and then you're going to drag up your alpha channel here. These two should be on top of each other, and your color maps should be on top of each other here. And you're going to hit this little button here, merge layers, go down, do the same thing. Click on your alpha channel, which is the black and white one, hit Control X, and then add layer masks to here, and Control V. So that's going to give you all your maps together, and then hit the little anchor. Alright, so now your mask is totally set up. Save that to wherever you're working. Okay, so when you export, important, you're exporting it as a PNG right now, you need to make sure this is checked off. Save color values from transparent pixels. Make sure that's checked and hit export. So now that's exported. You don't need GIMP anymore. Next, you are going to load up NVIDIA Texture Tools Exporter. Okay? In here, you're going to go to Format, scroll down to 8.8.8.8 RGBA. Click that. Okay? You're going to pre-multiplied alpha blending. Alpha is transparency. Uncheck that. Scroll down, DDS. Use DDX10 header. Check that on. Alright? Next, bring in your mask file. I should actually rename this. So you bring in your mask file. So it's still double stacked like this. To make this one singular, to stack these on top of each other, you need to go to Extract from Atlas. Click this, Number of Array Elements, hit the plus sign, and that'll put them on top of each other. So now you have your two masks are now on top of each other in the same file. Like alpha channel, color channel. Okay? And then you're going to save this as a DDS. Alright, so as you can see, we saved it as a DDS file. So we're good there. That is it for setting up our textures. Now we get to importing stuff. So we don't need these anymore, but I usually just change the IDs so that, so that I can use them if I ever need them later. Alright, so now we need to bring in our helmet that we're working with. So we're going to go to the SDK, search for, I'm working with the RS6, Fiend Destroyer, so that, oh wait. Alright, in here, in your settings, you can check these off, the parent armatures, you don't need armatures for this. Import LODs, I usually make collections because it makes it easier for certain things. Helmets not so much, weapons definitely import, make collections, it makes it so much easier. Import static meshes, we don't need the auto LODs, and usually you're not going to use unit materials, but for the custom helmet we do. So I'm going to leave that on. Usually you can uncheck this. Okay, that's set up. I actually need to go back in and export my textures for the custom visor. Alright, so now I got my custom textures in here, I got my PBR set up. These are that's standard stuff for making regular materials. You should know how to do that already. I would assume if you're looking at this LUT stuff, you already know how to make, basic plus material. So we got all that set up. I'm going to search for the RS6. Load the archive. And bring in our helmet. Oh wait. I'm going to save this first, just in case Blender crashes when I import this, because Blender likes to crash constantly for me, at least. Okay. Get that done. Bring up our UV maps. And we can start, pretty sure that, if you want to quickly, instead of doing copy, so if you do copy paste, it's going to give you the .001. You can just hit Shift S to, or Shift D to duplicate, and it'll keep the same number. Just a little tidbit there. So yeah, now we can start doing this. Again, if you're at this point where you're trying to do LUTs, you should probably already know how to do your model stuff. Yeah. Okay. Whoop. Alright, so that fixed that. Okay. I should have actually set my material up before I did this. Alright, so now we want to make our custom visor material, which is a basic plus for this. I mean, you can use whatever material you want, but for me it's basic plus. Tab, select my visor. Set up my material, assign that. So now my visor is on that. And plug in your textures like you normally would. Okay, my visor texture is set up. I just need to apply it to these. Did that now? Oh, assign that. Okay, yep, assign that. And last one. The fourth one, the last one here, is for the shadows, so you don't. The fourth one here, the LOD3, is for shadows, so you don't apply the. You don't need to apply it to that one. Okay. It would have been way easier if I did that first instead of having to do it that way. But anyway, so that's all set up. Your mesh is good. I'm going to save again. Now we need to bring in our textures, but I don't know which texture it is. So first you're going to export these as PNGs or whatever and determine which file number corresponds to what you're trying to plug in. So as you can see, these are the 4 that I exported. Unless you're changing the LUT, you don't need the LUT, you don't need this dot thing. So now we have these 2. So this is our mask, this is our curvature. So we're going to copy this number, plug it into our curvature here, and then we're going to copy this number, oops, copy this number, and paste it into our DDS. So now it's easier to work with. So 18 is our DDS, 25 is our curvature. So you're going to plug those 2 into those. Alright, we got those plugged in, and now we just need to save meshes, or save units as it's called now. This is where, hey, Blender didn't crash, cool. Alright, so that saved our texture for our custom texture for the visor, saved all that, everything looks good, we can write patch and see if it opens up in game. Fingers crossed. And as you can see, we have a problem. So right here, I forgot to do the vertex groups. So if you have this issue where it is not attached, it is because you forgot to do vertex groups. However, the helmet looks good. Let's equip it. I'll show you how to fix that in a second here, but I want to see how that visor looks with the armor. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. Not bad. I might actually keep it. I just did this for the video, but I might actually keep that as the helmet for this. Now, a couple issues that I will point out. So if your helmet comes in here and it has a bunch of decals all over it, it is your UV maps, and I will show you how to fix that when I get out of here. But so if you have decals all over it, it's the ID maps, or it's the UV map. If you have like, where's an example here? So as you can see on this specific helmet, how there's this big stain across the helmet here, but it's not actually there. That's because on my LOD1, my UV was set up correctly, but my LOD2, it was not set up correctly. So, I'll show you those when I go back into Blender in a second here, but all these scratches on here are actually a big decal that's applied to the helmet. So this is, it's like a big picture that's pasted over top of the helmet to get all these scratches here. So I'll go back into Blender and I'll show you how to fix the issues we're having here and how to fix those two things I just described. Alright, so we're back in Blender. So what we forgot to do is actually assign our helmet to the head group. So that one's assigned, assign. Alright, now the other two issues I was talking about. If you go to your UV maps, you have UV map 1, UV map 2. If you encounter, come on. That's weird. Alright, so if you have those two issues, it is usually the UV map 1 or 2 that you're having those issues. So you want to go into UV map 1 and 2, and you're going to just shrink this down super, super tiny and put it in the corner. Why am I not zooming in? What is happening? I guess I can't zoom in anymore? That's weird. Yeah, so just make it super, super tiny and put it in the corner. That's for the decals. If you have the issue I was just talking about where the damage, like the scratches, are too big, you want to go in, I forget if it's UV map 1 or 2. You're going to have to play around with it and figure out which one you're having the issue on. You're just going to want to shrink your helmet to a certain size that makes the scratches look alright on the helmet. It takes some playing around with to get it to work right, but that's how you fix that. So that should be all of our issues fixed. Now we're going to trash can that and save it one more time. And we are going to see if this actually works this time. Hopefully Blender doesn't crash. Okay. Didn't crash. Right patch. Alright, I'll see you in the game. Okay, and as you can see, our helmet is good to go. The neck looks like it goes in the helmet correctly. I'm using the BFA better female armors for that's why my guy looks so skinny. But yeah, the neck looks like it goes in correctly. Helmet moves. Visor actually looks pretty good, in my opinion. Yeah. So I think we're good to go. That helmet is complete. LUT edited. Everything is good. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. And if this was helpful, be sure to give me a like.